Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Eyal, co-founder at Muse and a product designer at the team. In this presentation, I'm going to show you a nice and fun case study that we made for Spotify user experience. And let's dive in. So in this presentation, we're going to cover the 10 UX issues. We are doing some kind of operation for the current system. Then we are using Design Sprint. It's like a nice tool that I will talk about it later. And a bonus feature in the end for retention. Very interesting to wait until the end. So why we chose Spotify? I'm a subscriber user for the last 2 years, and while I was using the system, I was like a little bit stuck. I didn't understand the holy grail of Spotify, so I started to ask my friends if they know how they work, what they are doing with the system, what they're doing with the application. I didn't get my answer, and it wasn't enough for me. So I went to the internet to see if I can find like tips and tricks about the application. Then I stumbled on this Wired magazine article that says Spotify user experience can be so confusing. Finding a specific album or a playlist or mood on Spotify is about as enjoyable as doing taxes. Then I thought like, okay, there is like something that maybe we can work on. So we decided to make this presentation to fix the UX issues in Spotify, and we are focusing on two main goals. The first one is getting a better understanding of the app flow, and the second one is to improve retention. So let's dive into the operation process. In this process, we took all the pages of the application and we were trying to understand the current flow and the current call to actions and what is the story behind the current application. So as you can see right now, on the left we have the homepage that was like for us was in a good design, good shape. On the right side, the search page was a little bit redundant in our opinion because the genres took a lot of real estate and the search bar at the top was like big and it didn't start from the top, and we thought like why they are not merging those two pages. We didn't understand exactly why it's separated. Number two, about your library. If we are talking about the microcopy, your library, inside you have playlists that you are following. It's not even yours. And it's in my library, and podcast, it's not even music. So it was a little bit confusing to understand what is your library. Number three, if we are talking about call to actions, on the left you can see the album. The call to action to like an album, it's in the right top. In the middle, if you are talking about playlist, the call to action to like a playlist is in the middle, follow. And if you are talking about artist, it's in the right top, and it has like a different design than in the playlist list. In the playlist page. So for us it was like very confusing why the call to action changed location and why the call to action changed design. Number four, if we are talking about playlists, for us it was like very hard to understand to distinguish between playlists that I'm following and playlists that I created in the past. Right now, to understand where are the playlists that I created, I need to read 12 pixels text on a black background. Wow, it was like very hard for my eyes to all the time read these 12 pixels below the title. I worked hard to understand which playlist I'm following and which playlist I created in the past. Artists, the same. If I like songs of an artist or if I follow an artist, everything is mixed. Go fish. Okay. Number six, we are looking about recently played. In the homepage, it's a nice feature. I use it all the time. When I come back to the application, I click play about my recently played. Nice. But they also duplicate this section to your library. And then it was like, why it's inside your library? For us, it was like very hard to understand why I have like a section duplicated in the system, especially that if I played songs that I don't like or I just like was like exploring. Now in my library I have like a lot of noise of songs that it's not my library. Number seven, we're talking about radio. Radio, it's like a nice feature that I personally using a lot. It means like, for example, as you can see, if I'm inside Black Coffee, I can click on the right top call to action and then I can scroll and go to radio and I will have like similar artists. But why it's hidden under the 3-dot top call to action, and it opens like a pop-up and then I need to scroll a little bit. Wow, it was like so hard to get to this feature. I felt like Spotify are a little bit tired from this feature, so I didn't understand why not to remove it or not. They have the data information about the user, we don't. We have just hunch, and for us it was like, okay, I'm using, I love it, so why it's like hidden so much. Number 8, if you're talking about my profile, after 6 months using the system, I realized there is like a my profile page. I don't know if you know, but you have. And it's very similar to Instagram profile page, and it's hidden under a gear icon. If you click on a gear icon, you are going to settings, and from settings, you are coming to a very sexy profile page. Wow, for us this was like very weird. Nobody knew that we have this page, gear icon, settings, my profile, very not intuitive to find it. So let's talk about the current pains in the flow. So this is very interesting. If you have like songs, albums, artist playlists, if you like or follow, everything goes to your library. Now, if everything goes to the library, why I have like 2 different call to actions? So for me, as a user, if you give me too much freedom and everything goes to the library, I'm not learning. And if I'm not learning, I don't know how to use the application. So if I like, if I follow, everything goes to the library. Wow, it was like, for me, it was hard. After using the system, I felt that it's like in my library, but in a mess. If you're talking about podcast, again, podcast, if you follow a podcast, it goes to your library, but it's not music. And so we are mixing podcast with music. And if you are looking about Apple split iTunes to podcast and music, and they have like a lot of data. It's Apple, so if we are in 2019 and Apple made like a standalone podcast and everybody become podcasters and it's very hype in the news to listen to podcasts, why not trying to bubble it up to the navigation and make Spotify as an application to listen to podcasts? For me, when it's like hidden inside the library, it's like a different story. So let's start with the hard work. So as I was saying before, we use Design Sprint by Jack Knapp. I really recommend to buy his book. And this is a nice tool that we are using in the studio. We want to align the team. It's like very fruity process when you draw a map on the wall and you ask all the questions and the goals of the project. And then you understand where you want to focus, what is your objective. And when you have the objective, all the mock-ups, all the ideas of everybody are in the same route. You are in the train and you can drive forward. When we draw the map, we decided by our hunch that if all the users will create playlists, for them it will be very hard to leave the app for another competitor. If they will not leave to another competitor, we have retention and everybody are happy, stakeholders, designers, making money, nice. In this frame you can see some concepts that we made in the design sprint, and in this process also we vote for the winning concept that we will know how to proceed with the UX process, how to make some real mock-ups that works in a short time. So let's solve those issues that I was talking about. So on the left, it's the current application. On the right, it's our approach. As you can see, we changed the navigation into search, playlist, podcast. We bubble up podcasts and my profile. So this is the story that we are talking about. Explore, playlist, podcast, and my profile. Number 2, if we are talking about podcast and playlist, we are telling a story. As I mentioned before, we bubble it up. We took it outside of the library, and right now playlist is in the top navigation, and also podcast, that you will feel like a standalone application. You're going into Spotify and you can listen to podcast and this is my playlist, and you can see Product Breakfast Club or listen to Britney. It's very funny. Really recommend about those 2 podcasts. And this is like a new update that we realized while we are doing the presentation, that Spotify made an update in the application. They split music and podcast inside the library. Very similar to what we made, but we made it outside, they made it inside. Nice. They also felt it's like very important to split it. Number 3, if you're talking about the genres and search, as I was mentioning before, the genres took a really big real estate, and right now we merged those 2 pages into one. The search is in the top, and below them we have the genres. It's very nice. You can scroll right to left and you can click indie and you will have the results. Very nice. You don't need 2 pages. I like this page. Number 4, my profile. As you remember, it was like gear icon, settings, and my profile. Right now we bubble it up, and what we made in here, so each song or an album that you like, it will go to songs you like in the middle, as you can see. But if I follow a user, if I follow an artist, it will go to the top. So for us, it made like a lot of order when we change the location where it goes. When I like songs, it will go to songs you like. When you follow an artist, it will go to the top. Number 5, we were talking about the main call to action. As you remember, everything is in the middle. We made album, you like an album in the middle, you like an artist in the middle, and also if you're going inside a playlist, the following is in the middle. Same place for the call to action, you don't need to search for it. There is no different design for the call to action. It's very straightforward, very easy to understand, very easy to remember. Number 6, we were talking about playlists that I'm following and playlists that I made. So at the top you have like your playlist. This is the playlist that I created. Below that you have like the playlist I'm following, and in the middle the big call to action to create a playlist, because this is the retention, if you remember, to create a playlist. Number 7, about the artist. Again, it's in the middle, I'm following, and in album I like an album, and it will go to different locations. Songs you like, it will go in the middle to the songs that I like, and if I will click back and I will go at the top to the following, I will see that the Strokes are there, the nice band that I'm drinking gin tonic and listen to the Strokes. It will be there, and also like I can click on a user and go inside. Number 8, recently played. It was very easy to solve it. We just remove it from my profile. Number 9, about the radio. It was also very easy. We made it in the right top, and then I can follow the playlist of similar artists. Again, I can go inside an artist, and the radio will be in the right top, not hidden under 3 dots. I can follow. I'm a happy camper. Cool, so we finalized phase number 1. We cleared the noise of the application, we understood better the flow, we changed the location of the call to action, and we changed the navigation. So right now we feel that the application is more understandable, and we are very happy with the results. So what Spotify wants us to do? If you remember in the objective, we decided the objective will be to create a playlist. So in here we took inspiration from Nir Eyal's book. I also recommend to read this book. He's talking about habits, and we try to put ourselves in the user shoes, like what is the habit, what you're doing daily, what you're doing less. So in here you can see like 80% of the time, and this is by our hunch, that the user will like songs and music and follow playlists. They will not create a custom made playlist. We didn't do user research in this process. We don't have the data, so it's only about like our hunch, and 20% it's like the strong retention. It's about to create a playlist. And then we thought like, why not making the 20% of creating a playlist, because it's very hard. We took it as cleaning the desktop icons or to order folders and files in the computer. And in Spotify, we really believe that it's not fun to create a playlist. So why not helping the retention to be a little bit higher? Why not 50%? So if we will make like 50% retention by helping the user to create a playlist, I think that I will be a happy camper. So to improve retention, we call this feature the playlist generator, and I will show you what we're talking about. In this generator, if you like an album or songs, everything it goes to this section. Cool. But we have Spotify Magic Touch, so we can click on generate, and then it will take, for example, 5 songs by the genre or BPM and push it to a current playlist, or it will take like 20 new likes and make by the BPM and genre like a new playlist for sporty, for example. And you can generate those playlists very easily. And right now you have retention, you have more and more playlists, and the user will not leave the app for another competitor. Very nice. Cool, so we established this retention phase with this bonus feature, and we made like for the end something cool, like we call it party mode. And it was like in the design sprint, we had an idea to make like a party mode. When friends come over, you have like a green bar at the bottom, and when you open it, you can see the friends that are shared in this playlist. You can save the playlist in the end of the party, and each one of the users can add more songs to the library. So if you will go to your songs in the app, if you click, it will not play the song, it will add it to the queue. Cool. So right now everybody can share songs that they like and party together. I'm not inviting friends anymore, it makes my apartment very dirty. Cool, so this was the case study that we made for Spotify. We really enjoyed the process, the UX process. You can see how we work internally. And in the end, I'm a subscriber. I really like Spotify. We made stuff with our hunch. We really enjoyed the process. And until next time, bye bye.